Hi everybody! If you're one of the thousands of people around the world who are thinking of creating an online course or a digital product, then at some point you'll actually have to record videos for this. But what if you've never made videos before? Stick around so that I can give you my best tips on how to create great videos for your new online course. Let's get right into it. If you're new here, my name is Liz and I release videos every Tuesday teaching early stage entrepreneurs how to use video marketing to build their business. Make sure that you subscribe to this channel so that you never miss any of my future videos. Now, many of the principles of shooting a video for YouTube or for social media are common and similar to the principles of shooting for an online course. There's some things that'll always remain the same. For example, make sure that your background is free of clutter. Make sure that you're wearing colors that don't clash with your background. All of those things are the same whether you're using video in different ways for your business. However, if you are shooting video specifically to include with an online course or for a digital product that you intend to sell to the general public, then you'll find that there are certain things that your students or the end users care about more than other things. So today we're going to talk about 9 of my top tips to creating great videos for your online course. So let's jump right into it. Now, my first tip is to start with the gear that you already have. I can't tell you the number of times that I've heard of online course creators who delay the release of their courses for weeks or months or sometimes even years because they're so worried that their equipment isn't good enough. You absolutely do not need a fancy DSLR video camera. You can totally use your own smartphone or the webcam that comes with your laptop, or if you want, you can even buy another external webcam and just attach that. Nowadays, people are releasing really good quality videos just using their smartphones. And in fact, the video that you're watching right now was recorded on my old model of iPhone. The important thing here is just to get started with your video recording. Your end user or your student, in fact, does not really notice much of a difference between a fancy DSLR video recording versus the one that you make on your smartphone. As long as you line up a couple other things like lighting, you can absolutely create a great quality product just with what you already have. If you want to spend a little bit of money, then what you can do is possibly buy a tripod for yourself just from Amazon, and that can help to stabilize your smartphone. But the one place where you could spend a little bit of money that I would highly recommend is to purchase an external microphone. So that means you can either plug it into an existing video camera that you have, or just plug it straight into your smartphone. And you can get these on Amazon or at any audio supply stores for anywhere between $30 to, of course, $1,000. So you can absolutely spend just a little bit of money to increase the audio quality that you have, and then just get started right away with videotaping and getting into the groove of creating the videos itself. My second tip is to keep each of your video lessons less than 10 minutes. Now, you may be developing your online course with different modules and lessons. So if each of your actual videos are between the 5 to 12 minute mark, then that makes it really digestible and easy for each of your students to go through. This always results in a higher completion rate for your full course because none of your videos will be overwhelming or drain the time of your students. Imagine if you're a busy working professional and in addition to everything else going on in your life, you're taking an online course. And every time you try to open up a new lesson to watch something, you realize that it's 45 minutes long or 55 minutes long. It's exhausting even before you start watching it, and then you'll feel discouraged from turning it on in the first place. On the other hand, when your students see that your lessons are really just a couple of minutes long, maybe somewhere between 5 to 11 minutes, they feel encouraged to just watch it because they know that they can squeeze that time in. My third tip is to use different video formats so that you can just break up the monotony of having one type of video through your entire course. This just keeps it more interesting for your students in general. Now, there's so many different types of videos that you can actually incorporate into your online course. For example, you can shoot some of your video lessons being talking head style, which is exactly like what I'm doing right now, where you're just talking directly to the camera. Some other lessons you could be just showing slides, which means you would be doing a screencast from your laptop and just showing the slides, and then you might be speaking as a voiceover on top of it. Another thing that you could do is show the slides and then show yourself in the corner by using one of the programs that I'll talk about later called Loom. That's also really great because you add the personal element by showing your face there, but in fact you have the slides. So there's many different ways that you can incorporate video into your online course and just mix up the actual formats just so that it keeps it fresh and interesting for your students to go through. My fourth tip is to use speaking notes or bullet points, but not to use an actual script. Now the thing about a script is that unless you are very well versed with reading from a script or reading from a teleprompter, your end user can almost always tell that you are reading something, which has a tendency to make you look a little bit more robotic. Now I absolutely appreciate that not everybody has a lot of experience using video camera, speaking to the camera, and that itself is a skill that takes some time to build up. However, if you are presenting an online course and releasing it to the general public, the assumption is that you actually know this material well and it's something that you consider yourself to be somewhat of a specialist in. So this is your opportunity to speak naturally about these topics that you yourself are a bit of an expert in. So for each video lesson, what I would recommend is that you just have a few speaking notes handy, meaning just a couple bullet points handy about what that specific video lesson is going to be about, and keep that with you, either pasted close to the actual video camera or just handy just somewhere off to the side. Your end user, meaning your student, will never mind if they're watching your video and they see you looking off to the side just to reference your notes. Remember that you are the expert there. They've purchased your course because you are the expert. There is nothing weird or scary about seeing you reference notes. That's what people do in real life when they just need to refresh their memory. So just get yourself comfortable doing that, and don't worry that your end user will expect you to have a fully polished, memorized script to say. When you follow a script, then you have a tendency to just kind of be reading and not really in the flow, which is quite a bit more noticeable for your end user. Another thing that you can do is have one point ready and then record it, and then pause your video camera or just pause speaking, reference your notes, and then say your next point. And then in your post-production editing, you can just cut out those couple of seconds where you're editing your notes. There's many ways to go about this, but in fact, just having a couple points handy really gives the most natural feel to your online course. My fifth tip is to incorporate video even before you make the sale of your online course. So what does this mean exactly? So this means even before somebody purchases your online course, they would have read up about it either on your website or your social media or on a sales page. All three of these places are great places for you to create a little video and just explain the material about your course or talk about yourself or your business. Right away, your prospective students get a sense of what it's like to see you on video, what your presentation style is like, whether you have a vibe that they would like to learn from, and what it would be like to receive instructions from you when they're going through your course. That way they can actually make a more informed decision to decide if you are actually the best instructor for them. Now my sixth tip is to use a software called Loom. I cannot tell you how much I love this program, and there's a paid version as well as a free version. So the idea is that you can record 3 different types of videos using this one software. First, what you can do is put your laptop in front of you, speak into the webcam, and it'll record a talking head video similar to what we're doing right now. So that's one style of video you could generate. The other thing that you could do is just share your screen, and it'll record the video of you moving through your slides, and then you can just speak as a voiceover, and that's a second type of video. My favorite way to use it, in fact, is to share my screen with my slides, and then also share the camera, which means it'll populate a little picture of me in the corner while I'm talking as I'm moving through my slides. This in fact is a really good way to show your students some material on the slides, as well as actually continuing to keep connected to them by showing your face on camera. Now my 7th tip is an easy one, but it really goes a long way towards helping you to save time. And that is to keep all of your recording gear as stationary as possible so that you don't have to reinvent and recreate your shooting setup every single time you want to create a new video. So what I do is I just put some tape down on the ground and I mark the places where my tripod is and where my studio lights are. And that way, in case I ever have to move that even a centimeter left or right for whatever reason, I can just quickly put it back in the same places. If you're looking for a uniform look for all of the videos in your online course, then you don't want to be moving all of your gear every single time and then spending hours trying to figure out exactly how you had it last time. Instead, just try to keep everything as is so that whenever you're ready to record a video, you just have to sit down, turn on your device, grab your mic and any of your lighting and just turn it on, plug it in, and then you're ready to go. Now, my 8th tip is to always save a backup copy. It takes so much of our energy just to create one video. The last thing we need is for that to just mysteriously disappear off the face of the earth and then we have no way to retrieve it. We have heard horror stories of people's entire YouTube accounts getting shut down or their Facebook profiles just mysteriously deleting itself, and then those people lose all the content that they have created. So what I really recommend is that once you create your actual raw footage, for example, in my case, I like to shoot on my smartphone. So when I'm done creating the video, I will immediately make a duplicate backup copy and then save that to Google Drive. Then I will edit that video and make a copy of that so that I have one good copy that is ready to publish on YouTube and I still have my raw footage. The reason that I do that is because I'm going to use my good copy to put on YouTube, to cut up into smaller pieces, to put on social media and to use for other purposes. However, one day down the line, if for whatever reason my account gets shut down or compromised in any way, I still have my raw footage saved somewhere. That way I can comfortably delete it off of my smartphone and it is still comfortably saved on the cloud. Now, my 9th and final tip for creating great videos for your online course is to try not to duplicate Google. So what does this mean? Now, I can't tell you the number of times that I have purchased other people's courses and opened it up with great optimism, hoping to reach my intended transformation. And instead, what I have seen there is hundreds of video lessons and a very, very overwhelming digital product in front of me. Remember that the person that is purchasing your course is looking for an end result in a reasonable amount of time. It is a very, very common mistake that course creators make to try to jam-pack in all of the information that they know on a particular topic, thinking that the student is going to find that to be so high-packed with value and worth the money. But this is a fatal error. What will happen is that your students will feel so overwhelmed with having this much information in front of them that they will rarely actually complete that course. Halfway through or 1/3 of the way through, they're going to feel like there is just no light at the end of the tunnel, and then they're going to get discouraged from actually completing it, which means that they won't get the transformation that you promised, and it will be hard for them to give you a good review. So instead, think clearly about how you can say your message and give your intended result as succinctly as possible. Imagine if you could give that person a result within 10 videos, or within 15 videos, or within a month-long course. Wouldn't that be far more preferable and far more worth the money than a course that actually drags over 6 or 7 months or over 100 videos? So try not to make this to be an extra burden to your students' life in addition to everything else that they have going on in their life, and keep it as succinct and clear as possible. Now, if you like this course, make sure that you give it a like and share it with one of your friends who's creating an online course so that they can get all the tips they need before they start rolling the camera. Make sure that you subscribe to this video so that you never miss any of my future videos on this topic. If you're interested in learning other ways that you can use video marketing to grow your new business, don't forget to check out the link in the description below for a free resource that I can send you so that you can get started with that right away. So until next time, take care.